Hey guys, Virtual Mentors Club here. So today we're going to start by solving a problem from the STAAR 2019 5th grade math test. This is question number 12. Let's start by reading the problem, and as we read it, let's highlight any key information. Okay, number 12. A student used this graphic organizer to classify different figures. So in this graphic organizer, it shows triangles in the outer layer and isosceles triangles in the inner circle. And this shows that all isosceles triangles are triangles, but not all triangles are isosceles triangles. We also see 5 figures over here. Let's move on. Which figures belong in the part of the organizer labeled isosceles triangles? So which figures belong in the organizer labeled isosceles triangles? Alright, so basically what the question is asking us is that out of these 5 figures, which one or which triangles are isosceles triangles? So before we start, we have to know what isosceles triangles are. And isosceles triangles are triangles that have two congruent or equal sides. So isosceles triangles are triangles that have two congruent sides. And the way we represent this in geometry is through tick marks. So let me draw a triangle right here. So if we have one tick mark here, that shows that this side has a leg, has a one tick mark leg. If we had one tick mark here, then that shows that these two legs are equal since they have the same number of tick marks. And let's say we add 2 tick marks here at the bottom. There. So this shows that this bottom side has a different, this bottom layer is either bigger or smaller than these two top layers. It has a different size. Now, if we add a third tick mark right here, then this shows that all 3 sides have different lengths. So with that in mind, let's look at the figures down below. So figure 1, you can see it has 1 tick mark here, 2 tick marks here, and 3 tick marks here. And that means that all 3 sides are different. And according to the definition of isosceles triangles, which is triangles that have 2 congruent sides, this figure has no congruent sides, so we can cross that off. Let's look at figure 2. So in figure 2, you see one side here that has 1 tick mark, one side here that has 1 tick mark. And since these 2 sides have the same number of tick marks, we could say that these 2 sides are congruent. And that fits the definition of isosceles triangles. People will usually get confused because this third side has the same number of tick marks as these 2 other sides, But as long as we have two sides that are congruent, this figure should be considered as an isosceles triangle. A more specific term for this would be equilateral triangle, but that's for another video. Alright, so for figure 3, you can see one tick mark here, two tick marks here, and three tick marks here. And this means that all three sides have different lengths, so we can cross that off. For figure 4, we see this side has one tick mark, this side has one tick mark, and this side has two tick marks. And since we see that these two top sides have the same number of tick marks, they're both congruent. So that means this figure is an isosceles triangle. So figure 4 and figure 2 are isosceles triangles. And lastly, for figure 5, we can see that this side has one tick mark, this side has one tick mark, this side has two tick marks. You can see that this bottom side and this vertical side has the same number of tick marks, so they're both congruent. So that means that figure 5 is an isosceles triangle. So to wrap up, figure 2, figure 4, and figure 5 are isosceles triangles. So that will eliminate G and H. And now you see in answer choice F, it says figures 2 and 5 only. And figure 2 and figure 5 are both isosceles triangles, but it has this word only, saying that figure 2 and figure 5 are the only isosceles triangles, which is incorrect. We've also got figure 4. So we can cross F out, and that will leave us with J. Figure 2, figure 4, figure 5. F is not F. J is the answer, F is incorrect, G is incorrect, and H is incorrect.